Hello guys, welcome back to a video on my channel. Today, playing Ages of Conflict and finishing this this save that I did a while back. Trust me, I remember the rules. We're good. So, I remember everything, at least on my end. If you don't know what's going on, I suggest watching the first part, which I'm gonna leave in the description. Yeah. Um, yeah. All right, we're gonna go. We have Dakota versus St. Paul Union. Let me actually make sure I'm correct about everything here. Dakota versus St. Paul and Denver Union. Both are unions, so this should be good. Dakota is winning. What's the alliances like? Oh shit! Denver Union was conquered by Dakota. So, looks like there's plenty of alliances here. Another war is broken out between Idaho versus Washington and Montana. It appears that Idaho is actually losing. St. Paul Union was conquered by Dakota. Another war between Maine and Virginia. Seems like stuff's happening. Wisconsin, what the fuck is up with your borders? Why are you split in half? That's not looking good. By the way, guys, I've been working, not today, but I've been working a little bit on, that's Maine out of the game. Now, I remember saying yesterday that I would turn off revolutions, like, once it was down to the last 15. I've since found out that revolutions, I did some researching, they've been slightly tweaked to where I don't necessarily have to do that anymore. Because it doesn't get, like, absolutely bumfuck ass weird. But I'm going to say this. I'm still going to turn off revolutions at some point when I think that it just gets too insane, where there's too many revolutions for there to really be an ending. So I will at some point be turning revolutions off. I don't think it's yet. I'm going to say around like 5 to 7-ish. So, because I've noticed I haven't been getting that many revolutions where, like, I think at most this round we've gotten like 4, maybe 5 at once. But there were times where I was getting legitimately like this entire thing filled with revolutions, and that hasn't happened. So I don't feel like it's necessary. Also, we have the entirety of New England practically created as of Virginia. Oh, damn. Holy shit. Wait. I want to actually just mark this out. We have Dakota versus Idaho, Arizona, and New Mexico all at once. And then we have Tennessee and Arkansas versus St. Louis Union. Weren't they allied? Did I miss something? It appeared that St. Louis is actually winning. Like, across all fronts. It looks like a fucking pork chop. Oh! I think Arkansas is giving it a run for its money. Just a little bit. Bit of a resistance from St. Louis and its influence. As Dakota just demolishes Idaho, Arizona, and New Mexico. St. Louis Union continues to grow. taking over what was once Tennessee. Here we go. We have a revolution. Charleston. I want to mention, by this point, again, there were to be tons of revolutions. Absolutely massive amounts. So I'm going to let Charleston stay. We're going to give it this flag. Madagascar. Apply. Confirm. Rename to the Charleston Union. And then we'll give it a decent chunk of money. Looks like St. Louis Union is just ravaging territory from Tennessee. Point Tennessee has to move its capital. This is not a normal war. That is insane. Tennessee just got reduced as Dakota just continues to go right through Idaho and Arizona as New Mexico becomes its puppet state. It even goes to war with Montana. You remember the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Montana and Idaho are very certainly not hating on each other as usual. They have a common enemy in Dakota. Seems like Dakota is just unstoppable. Idaho becomes another puppet state. And then we have another revolution in Dakota. Nebraska. Hey, Nebraska, you are massive, my friend. But also, I understand why you're so massive. Why do you have so much money? I'll give you the protection. I'm not giving you the money. Jesus. As St. Louis Union goes to war with Florida, Carolina, Virginia, Arkansas, and Tennessee at the same time. And it is just wrecking house on all fronts. St. Louis Union truly making a name for itself. Montana becomes a puppet state of Dakota. Dakota seized El Paso from their puppet New Mexico. New Mexico revolted against Dakota. This is getting crazy. Washington has decided to go to war with Idaho. This is not looking good for Dakota's territory. Washington is actually demolishing Idaho. Unusual considering, at least in 2025, Washington, we're not very gung-ho, I should say. We're not very war relevant. We would not win any wars in our current state. Tennessee was conquered by St. Louis Union. This is a rare situation here. We have Operation Lincoln. Carolina was conquered by St. Louis Union. Wow, this is a very rare situation in which it's allied with Dakota. Of fucking course it is. St. Louis Union has a uprising known as Tennessee. Tennessee, welcome back to the playing field, my friend. You're just not in Tennessee, though. That's the funny thing. It's not in Tennessee. It's not even down here where it was for years. Arkansas was conquered by Nebraska, of all fucking people. Nebraska and St. Louis Union are going at it as to own just a little bit of down here, whereas Nebraska is cut into multiple tiny pieces. Chat. Chat, do you remember when I said Do you remember what I said? That shit like this wouldn't happen? I'm regretting my decision. We're turning off revolutions, okay? It's just happening. Okay. We're gonna let Carolina stay. Carolina absolutely gets to stay. Why are you at war? You can't even win that. Kansas City. Arkansas also gets to stay because it was an actual state. Louisville, no. This is hard because now I have to figure out who I'm annexing as a part of St. Louis Union. I think everything but this one and this one. I want to say, yeah. So, let's open up this. We're annexing... Actually, no. I'm going to leave Kansas City to make it a union. For one reason only here. Because it's actually in a spot that makes sense to unionize. Actually, because revolutions are off, this is going to be the only time that I'm gonna actually do a test right here. Can I draw like right up here? I can. Okay. It's gonna... Okay, I didn't want to do all that. God damn. Okay. This is gonna be the only time I'm making a flag. So I want everyone to know this is not gonna be pretty. How big is this? Like 5? Okay, it's not 5. Is it 4? It's 4. This is not gonna be pretty. Just a quick clarification. As more proof that this will probably not be pretty. I have fumbled. All right. All right. This is the flag. It's based on literally nothing. I don't exactly know why I drew it that way, but that is the flag of Kansas City Union. As for everything else, it is getting fucking annexed. I don't care. We're annexing Springfield. We're annexing Louisville. Annexing Frankfort. What are you, Columbus? Yeah, you're getting fucking annexed. Washington. I believe... Actually, who was Washington a part of? It was all St. Louis Union. So we're annexing Washington. By the way, it lost a bunch of its money. So I'm going to get it to like 5,000 and call it good. Because that's around where it was last time I checked. What is this? I got to be careful when clicking that. I got it. We're annexing Richmond. Raleigh or Riley. I think that's what it's called. We're annexing that. This is Columbia. That is technically part of Florida. We're going to be annexing Columbia. We're going to annex Atlanta. Annexing Nashville. Memphis. Little Rock. Oklahoma City. Dallas. Jackson. Montgomery. Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Baton Rouge, Houston, Austin, San Antonio. The rest of them can stay. I have revolutions off. That is all. No more revolutions for the rest of the game. I'm also going to nerf St. Louis just a little bit. I'm putting it at 5. I know what it is at war with. It is going to lose to, but I don't care. I think that is fine. Like how Nebraska is technically trying to take some land out of Kansas City Union now. Or it was. Carolina's making a comeback. Idaho revolted against their master Dakota. They are losing to fucking everybody. I think actually Washington is technically not winning anymore as it makes peace, and that border is so bad. I can't even lie. Carolina was conquered by St. Louis Union. How, may I ask? I'm not entirely sure how that happened. That's a lot. What's going to war with who? Okay. Ooh. I think it's Nebraska and Tennessee. Yeah, Nebraska, Tennessee versus Wisconsin. Yeah. Nebraska, Tennessee versus Wisconsin. St. Louis Union. Dakota. Maybe Lincoln. No, Lincoln's fighting Arkansas. So. And then St. Louis Union, Dakota are versus New Mexico. Dakota by itself is fighting Idaho, New Mexico, Nebraska. And Tennessee. But then it's like Wisconsin is fighting Nebraska, Arkansas, Tennessee. Lincoln Union is only attacking Arkansas, while St. Louis Union is attacking Arkansas, Tennessee, Nebraska, and New Mexico. Seems like New Mexico's actually winning, though. Oh, shit. Forgot to turn that off. So it seems like there's a massive war going on, at least here. Yeah, Tennessee was just conquered by Wisconsin, which is just insane because it also kind of like just came back. I feel like if I were to turn revolutions back on, again, St. Louis would just fucking implode. Which I know, like, the point of having revolutions in this game, as far as I know, is so that the game never ends. But it's so annoying when there's so many and you just have to buff them for them to actually be even remotely strong. That, to me, is annoying. Really? Kansas City Union and Arkansas go to war? Like, out of all of the wars that just happened, I think Dakota released New Mexico as a puppet, but everyone else stayed. It's just a war between these two. And that's Idaho out of the game. Yeah, Zoinks Scoob. I'm surprised with how much land Dakota owns. Like, St. Louis was the one to break up, because it's like, it was technically Tennessee, and it demolished Tennessee, but... Alright. Charleston Union was conquered by St. Louis Union. That's just crazy. Like, how Virginia just owns this one piece. Wait, is Virginia owned by Dakota? Oh my god, it is. So it owns Montana and Virginia. Bro. And that's Kansas City Union getting demolished by Lincoln Union. Arkansas has nowhere to go. Because it can't unite with the old faction. Washington appears to have gone to war with Montana and Dakota. And it is winning. I do want to clarify, I hate Dakota's borders. I think this is awful. Like, Dakota is cut into technically 4 pieces. And it shouldn't really even be that way. I think it sucks. It's disgusting. Washington is just wrecking house here. Honestly, this alliance makes sense. It's really strong. Dakota will just get stronger because it owns 2 puppets. But the problem with those 2 puppets is that Virginia is the strongest one. And oh my god, Arkansas has just been eaten by St. Louis Union and I didn't even notice. Another problem with revolutions in this game, I'm going to complain a little bit about the revolutions, is they don't come back strong enough on their own. Even if I buff them, they just don't come back strong enough to really be able to handle themselves for more than like 10 years, maybe even 15. But New Mexico's actually getting fucked now. St. Louis is definitely a part of the bad guys at this point. I know I'm calling like this whole like thing that's winning, I'm calling them the bad guys. They are the fucking bad guys, okay? I refuse to believe they're good. And Nebraska is fighting Dakota, Lincoln Union, Wisconsin, St. Louis Union. All of which, I believe it is only winning to Dakota. Oh, it is winning to Lincoln, to be fair. And St. Louis, probably. Virginia went to war with Dakota and St. Louis, but it is losing to St. Louis, winning to Dakota. Lincoln Union became a puppet state of Nebraska. Wait, how did Nebraska become a puppet state, but then it puppeted? Logs, you're going to have to explain why and how Nebraska regained independence there. Virginia has been cut off from attacking Dakota. Virginia had an economy crash. That is unfortunate. Virginia was conquered by St. Louis Union, while Lincoln Union was conquered by Nebraska, which means Nebraska is now fighting Dakota, which is really strong, and Wisconsin, which is really strong, and St. Louis Union, which is a little weaker. I hate to say it, I think Nebraska's going to get pushed out of the game yet again. Which leaves Washington. It leaves like these 3. As New Mexico is puppeted yet again. So Dakota keeps 2 of its puppets. Washington goes to war with Dakota and Montana. I think that's a bit of a mistake because I don't think it can win that. The problem is, like, this whole big union here, like these 3, they're too strong together. And Florida just goes to war with St. Louis Union and is not winning that. New Mexico revolts, but it's probably in vain. Yeah. Florida is being reduced. California supports Washington. This could be big. New Mexico is conquered by Dakota completely. Florida became a puppet state of St. Louis Union. The problem is Florida only owns one city now, so they can just take it whenever they feel like it. Ooh, Washington making a comeback. Love to see it. At this rate, Washington has to knock Montana out of the game, in which it does. Washington has conquered Montana. That actually does nerf Dakota because Dakota now owns 0 puppets. It has pulled out all puppets from the game. Nebraska actually might see some growth here. Nebraska could join an alliance at any time. But I don't think it's likely for it to want to join the bad guys. It is improving. No. Wait. Dakota had an economy crash. Nebraska. No. Just give up. Just give up, Nebraska. No. No. It's having all of its territory eaten. If it's knocked out. Wow. Nebraska was conquered by Wisconsin. That was so undeserved. I hate to say it. I don't like that. That's so annoying. Because now fucking Nebraska, or not Nebraska, Dakota has even worse borders. And we've run into a problem where only these 3 can attack these 3. And even then, most of them are attacking only Dakota. So they have to push Dakota out of the way to get to the bigger unions. Unless these guys break apart, which they could. Florida revolts against St. Louis. This is part of the game where I'm going to say, this is not looking good for anybody. Because this is now the long game, where it will be world peace for most of the time. So I'm going to turn this up to 1. We're going to go to 1 times speed. Just because stuff kind of just needs to happen. We need to get there faster. What war broke out? Washington, California, and Arizona are all going after Dakota. Washington and Dakota are evenly matched. California will beat Dakota, while Arizona will not be beating Dakota and will actually be losing to Dakota. Which is, to a degree, fine. I actually don't have a problem with that because it makes sense to a degree that there would be one weak link, one that's actually the strong, and then one that's like just mediocre. But then it's like, oh, Dakota can just get money, economic aid, and then it'll start winning. Once it's down to 3 of them, though. Wait. Dakota's economy crashed. That's actually huge. Come on, do what Nebraska did. Just don't give up. Don't give up for a while. Really, bro? Really? Really, bro? I feel like just because the economy crashed, this number should, like, go down. I feel like when the economy crashes, if the dev is watching this, when a economy crash happens, the combat power should lower immediately by 2, unless it's at, like, 1. Or 2. If it's at, like, 1 or 2, leave it the same. But if it is, If it's at like 3-4, lower it by 2. Or 3-4, lower it by 1. 5-6, lower it by 2. I think that's fair. That way, it can make a comeback if it gets its economy up. But why is Dakota just donating to St. Louis Union? What? All right, we're at a complete standstill. Wait, Florida versus St. Louis Union is that's why they're donating here. Is St. Louis losing? I don't think it's winning or losing. Technically, Florida's winning, in my book, because it has already gained land. Then we have Washington, California, and Arizona going to war with Dakota yet again. Dakota has already weakened its economy by donating solely to St. Louis Union. In St. Louis Union's efforts against Florida, in which Florida is starting to lose. But I think Florida at the end of the day would take like a win, which releases Florida from being a puppet. And Dakota is just too big of a powerhouse to really take on when it has an economy. The problem is, come on, guys. These guys actually have an economy built up. They could entirely go to war with Dakota, have Dakota economy crash because they just don't have the money. The problem is Washington, Arizona, with that strategy, Washington, Arizona make the least amount. Dakota makes the most amount on the entire thing. So it can recover fast, while these guys would not be able to as fast. Are you fucking serious? Florida immediately goes back to war with St. Louis Union and is starting to lose all of the land it has just gained. Washington, California, and Arizona go to war with Dakota. Wisconsin is now the best economy. That's a joke. It's not really the best. I don't think it's the best. I can look at the statistics of gold. Yeah, California has the best economy. It gains the slowest, but it's still the best. Arizona became a puppet state of Dakota. You see, that's bad. Dakota is still at war with California and Arizona. Dakota and Arizona are at war with California. Florida becomes a puppet state of St. Louis Union. And Arizona revolts. So technically, okay, it's just between these two. And that's St. Louis Union seizing Miami, Florida. I'm going to be honest. Just because it's going so slow, because it's literally just a massive thing right here versus kind of big thing right over here, I'm going to make one revolution in each of these. Because I can do that. I can go over here and then revolt. I can do New Mexico. We're going to have New Mexico revolt. And with this, we're going to have, I think, the one that deserves to come back the most, and hear me out, it's one that had the least amount of glory, Rhode Island. As for Wisconsin, it's not as big. It doesn't even have any revolutions. So for Wisconsin, I'm going to do another one here. Nebraska could come back, but I don't generally want Nebraska to come back. So I'm going to bring back another one that honestly kind of got gypped, in my opinion. And that is Florida. I'm going to just be honest and completely honest. I think Florida got gypped the entire game because it only did one thing at the beginning, and it won. And then it did nothing for the rest of the game. And then it just got steamrolled completely. So we're going to bring Florida back. Even though it's not where Florida was, and Florida was down here. But we're bringing Florida back. I don't give a shit. Florida's getting a buff. We're bringing Florida a buff of 2,000 to stay in the game. I'm going to buff New Mexico the same amount to keep it in the game. And I'm also going to buff Rhode Island to the same amount to keep it into the game. I want to be completely honest. I'm not doing this because it's like I'm biased to like one side, honestly. Even though I live in Washington still in the game. The thing is, I don't think Washington deserves to win at all. As someone that understands kind of like how an actual civil war would happen if it was every 50 state. If it wasn't randomized, if it was like from here to then, Washington's fucked. Like, we're not staying in for long. We'd probably get invaded by Idaho and lose. So these guys are just here to come back. If they don't fight, they don't fight. If they do, they do. That's just the way it's going to be. I'm not making them join any sides because it would be really annoying if, like, Florida just goes to war with St. Louis Union again. Yeah, sure, buddy. Actually, pop off. Never mind, because St. Louis Union is getting support from Wisconsin, something you don't even have access to. This is insane. I could have another revolution. I could just make another one. But by that point, I might as well just turn revolutions back on. New Mexico versus St. Louis Union, Dakota. It is completely stalemating. Never mind. It is losing land to St. Louis Union. How are you at 2? No. I don't care if that's technically rigging the game. I am buffing it to come back. That is... How did it even get to 2? I didn't think enough time would elapse for it to get to 2. I'm also partially trying to make this a challenge for, like, the bigger guys, because, if I'm being honest, as someone that has been studying this game, Arizona and New Mexico formed an alliance. That is probably not 100% good. That means California and Washington have more enemies. That also does mean Dakota, St. Louis, and Wisconsin have more enemies, but... Come on, man. Anyway. But yeah, I'm also trying to do this as, like, a challenge for, like, the bigger guys, because... It fucking sucks when there's, like, huge dudes, because they will win almost no matter what, as long as they have allies to support them. And that makes this part of the game just really annoying and boring, in my opinion. Because it's like, you already know the big guys are going to win by default. Even if you had, like, if I go over here and you have, like, the combat efficiency on random, it just fucking happens. That's the way it works. I swear it's, like, on random, it randomizes to the higher number if you're bigger. Rhode Island and Florida. No. Politely. I'm gonna also nerf you slightly. And, there we go. I don't care. You need competition. You need problems. And that needs to be New Mexico, Florida, and Rhode Island. Honestly, that That actually balances the scales, having that many alliances on the map now. This is becoming partially a babying process because, yeah. I can almost guarantee you, though, I don't think these three are staying. This is just to try and make the video a little more interesting. Because, I'm going to be honest with you, I have high bets that it's going to be between Dakota and St. Louis Union anyways. I don't even think it's going to be... Yeah, just fucking look at this. I'm not helping these three. Whatever happens to these three, happens to these three. No. You need competition, buddy. As for, like, California being fucking, puppeted, that's not good, because now Washington has a big problem where it is going to war with California, Dakota at the same time. It's somehow alive. That's the worst thing. Okay, New Mexico. Let's go. Arizona is pretty much being just taken by Dakota. And then there's New Mexico. No. Another partial just like the AI just doesn't know when to give up or stop going to war. It's like when your economy crashes, why not just after like a year, not even a year, like at most a year, just decide, boom. Arizona becomes a puppet state of Dakota. California is a puppet state of Dakota. Again, I have no faith in Washington here, which is why I'm not buffing the shit out of it. There's no fucking way Washington wins. How are you a puppet state? What happened? How is Rhode Island not a puppet state, but you are, buddy? What happened? This knocks the alliances literally down to 0. Actually, 1, technically. I'm just saying I still consider Dakota, St. Louis, Union, and Wisconsin absolutely they're the bad guys. It is astonishing that St. Louis Union has even lasted this long into the game. Unions or revolutions just don't tend to do that. Yeah, they're going to send money over to St. Louis, so I kind of just have to buff Rhode Island. Because they're just going to keep sending money. And there's really nothing that can happen there. Dakota seized Olympia from their puppet California, and then California revolts. Like, again, bad border. New Mexico just blitzes through St. Louis Union here. Same with Rhode Island, actually. Which, thank fuck. Excuse me, but no. The fact that New Mexico has remained actually strong is what astonishes me. There's no way St. Louis Union just lets this happen. I think it's safe to say that Rhode Island and New Mexico, from this point forward, they're on their own. I'm not helping them. Whatever happens at that point, it fucking happens. as New Mexico's economy crashes. Florida goes straight through St. Louis Union. Oh, St. Louis Union had an economy crash. New Mexico just got taken completely out of the game. Okay. All right. And of course they donate to St. Louis. Yeah, Florida, I'm still helping. Rhode Island is on its own. Florida is not. Especially since New Mexico just fucking completely died. And it's like, yo, New Mexico, you can like stop going to war at any time with Dakota. Just make a peace deal, man. St. Louis released their puppet Florida. Good. Is Florida going to war? Oh, but Rhode Island is still at war with St. Louis Union. Rhode Island does not give a shit. California revolted against their master, Dakota. Dakota actually had an economy crash. This is good. In the Washington and California are still at war here. It is good for California. Regardless, that Dakota still had an economy crash, and then they literally just donated to Dakota. Which put it at 6 for some fucking reason. Did Rhode Island have an economy? What the fuck? Wisconsin just can't go to war. That's a problem I'm having. It can't go to war with anyone, so it just sits on a pile of gold, not doing anything, and then just gets carried to victory. If this were, have one alliance standing, then I would probably have done that video instead, where there's just one alliance that just remains. Which, I might do that video if you guys want to see it, in which that would be very different. Because I would have to put everything in an alliance as soon as possible, as it pops up. So it can't be on its own. It would have to join an alliance. It could possibly remain neutral. I don't know. I'd have to think about the rules. Okay, this border kind of sucks between Florida and Rhode Island here. Rhode Island goes to war with Dakota, Wisconsin, and St. Louis Union all at once. Florida remains out of the conflict. Which is fair. Washington is just going to get eaten here. I have no faith in Washington. Yep. Washington was conquered by Dakota. Hey guys, where do you live? I live in Dakota. Dakota seized Las Vegas from their puppet California. California revolts against their master Dakota. California might win as long as, like, Wisconsin doesn't fucking donate their pile of gold to Rhode Island. And that is Rhode Island actually having an economy crash at the same time as St. Louis, pretty much, because Rhode Island does not know how to take care of their own economy. I tried to avoid this situation. It's gonna happen regardless. That's the problem I'm seeing right now, is it doesn't matter. This is going to be between Dakota and St. Louis Union, and I already know Dakota would win. Like, Wisconsin also is just carrying Dakota with its money, and Dakota's carrying Wisconsin with actual military power. Because Rhode Island just got knocked out of the fucking game. And of course, Florida goes to war with St. Louis Union and Dakota. It's gonna lose to Dakota. That is just guaranteed. St. Louis Union, on the other hand, no. Arizona goes to war with Dakota. Oh shit, Florida's making a comeback. St. Louis, you better be careful. There's no way. There's no way it gets knocked out by fucking Florida. What? St. Louis Union was conquered by Florida? Didn't that just put it up to... It did. But have another economy crash. Buddy. Okay. This is what I like to see. Okay, I'm not expecting the Florida growth here. It's like a fucking tree. Okay, I didn't expect this. This is kind of fun. This is kind of fun to watch. Like, Wisconsin could actually just intervene here. Dakota releases Puppet Arizona. Like, bro, what? Bro, what? Are you fucking kidding me? And of course, Florida stops going to war with Dakota. Dakota still has, like, awful fucking borders. If anything, it's worse. Because it has a piece of land here, and here, and I think right... No, that's a lake. Florida goes to war with Wisconsin, Dakota. Dakota has 6. Apparently, it has not gone down. Wait. California and Dakota, are they allied? They are! Okay, I didn't notice that. Wow. That's cool. That's good. It's actually really good. Because now it's basically like Wisconsin-sized California versus Dakota-sized Florida. And Florida has an economy crash. California, save Florida. Wisconsin, save Dakota. It's a joke. I think just the opposite's gonna happen, where just Florida's now just gonna get eaten by Wisconsin, while California just eats Dakota, and then Arizona is just like, "Hi guys." Could you imagine if Arizona fucking won? I would actually be sad if Arizona won. I'm not gonna lie. 2025, 2025, 2025, 2025. This is the only one that's not 2025. That is insane. You know, we have world peace. It's like, could you imagine if the United States actually looked like this in the future? Okay. Florida is eating Wisconsin. Dare I say, even Dakota. California goes to war with Arizona. Really? Oh, another economy crash? I'm gonna have to... Here. I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna buff both Florida in their economy and their combat power. I'm gonna leave Wisconsin. I'm gonna do the same for Dakota. As for this, this can just happen. Because I just want to see. Florida economy is out so fast. I don't know what's causing that, like, rapid drain. Dakota just doesn't have a rapid drain. I don't even think Wisconsin has that rapid of a drain. I'm gonna also just so that that stops happening. Okay. I just wanted to do something for a test. Florida's just immediately no more money. Florida would lose to Wisconsin just due to economy alone. That's so awful. Wisconsin doesn't need to be strong. It just needs a good economy. What's the income of Wisconsin like? Worse than Florida, apparently. It has less money than Florida. So Florida would actually technically win the next war. If it saves up enough, that is. Arizona and California just go right through Dakota here. Florida, do not be giving away your money. You need to be stronger than Wisconsin economically. Wisconsin's actually saving its money instead of helping Dakota. I think it's realized the strategy. It has. It has realized the strategy that it just needs to leave Dakota behind. It just wants Dakota's money. It's not in it for anything else. Down to the last. Let's look. I'm not even remotely surprised. You know what? Yeah. That is, yep. Jesus. Ice. California released their puppet Arizona. Arizona revolts against their master California. This is wild. Let's see. Let's see. An economy crash of both Wisconsin and Dakota. Arizona goes to war with Dakota. Dude, the only one that can recover is Wisconsin. If Wisconsin even decides to stop going to war with Florida. Nope. Wisconsin was conquered by Florida. But Florida had an economy crash. No! No! Dakota, fuck off! Get out of here. We almost fixed Dakota's fucking awful borders. We're that close. But no cigar. No cigar. Yeah, I'm gonna real quick while we're waiting for this to end. I want to talk about the map I'm making of this game. It is based on the world map. I have realized that I probably, before I want to upload it to the workshop, Excuse me. What the fuck? Okay, bro. Anyway, I want to remove the non-English areas out of the equation because A, I speak only English, and B, in my opinion, there's just a okay. All right. Well, it's just massively disrespectful in my opinion that I have to use Google Translate to horribly translate just keywords in other languages. So, I'm going to write everything in English and rewrite everything into English. I'm just going to come up with different names. I have a test map where like I'm like commentating to friends and I'm like I can't even pronounce half of these countries. Where I just say language number 1 country and then I explain what's happening to other language country and it's like, yeah, I'm just going to remove the non-English names from the map and replace them with English names because I speak English. But to note the languages that were on the map, there's Russian, there's German, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, Spanish, French. There's more. Ukrainian is on there. Polish is on there. Hindi, Arabic, that's on there. But I'm gonna remove all of that because I think it's disrespectful that I can't really pronounce most of their names, if any of them. I might leave cities to be what they are because I don't think city names are as important. But yeah. I'm going to be reworking names back in English. California just conquered Arizona and was going right through Dakota. Here we have Dakota by itself, sandwiched between Florida and California. I'm going to leave the alliance until it's just down to 2. Or if Dakota wins, because it can. Yeah. This is happening. Hold on, give me a second. Just let this shit run. All right, nice. Dakota is just getting fucked by California and Florida. I like how they all end with California, Dakota, Florida. That's really funny. At least they all have decently good borders now. I bet there's people being like, oh, but if you just did winner takes all, the borders wouldn't be that bad. I'm sorry, they would still be awful at times. This doesn't help. And even then, the border can still get scuffed because, you know, it only happens that way if it's like you take the capital anyways. I don't think Dakota wins this. This is definitely going to become a Florida versus California moment. We're gonna actually speed up the game. to a decent speed of 1 times. Just because this is going to be slow and painful to a degree. What are economies like? Florida gains economy is so much faster than the other two. Alright, well. Let's go. Florida will now own up to Michigan. Dakota become a puppet state of Florida. I would argue that that's technically world peace. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Dakota goes back to war with California. Why? I made you leave for a reason. I can't believe. I always. Bro. No. No. I always have to manipulate the game when it gets, like, late into the game because, like, when you're at endgame, bro, stop. We're turning it to 5 because Dakota is down. Conquered by Florida. Now it's Florida versus California. Florida takes a lot of land. Florida gets pushed back by Cali. Florida takes a decent chunk of land. Slowly creeping into California. Nope. Slowly getting pushed out of California. Ooh. Oh. Okay, that's massive for California. Getting pushed back out of Florida. Push even more out of Florida here. Nice. Oh, that's pretty deep in Cali. That was pretty good. Ooh. Ooh. Well, that hurts. By the way, Florida's gonna win. Florida is just pushing deep into Cali here. I could make them fight to the death, but I feel like that's, at this point, not even worth it. Oh. California has the upper hand. They're pushing all the way back to the middle of the map, pretty much. Florida's pushing them back. We're getting them back to California. Ooh. Back into Florida. Oh. Yep. Yep. Alright. Yep. We're gonna be here a while. We're gonna be here a while. Yep. Alright. Yep. Let's go. Pip chip cheerio. Florida, just fucking win. Goddamn, stop playing with your food. I can't wait to tell my friend that lives in Florida, like, hey, look, you won. The land of the Florida men. Like, even though, yes, technically I could have let the game go on without adding Florida, New Mexico, and Rhode Island, it would be more interesting if I did that, which is why I did. Because it's like St. Louis and Dakota are just going to win, and there's just no way to make them not win. Like, and then it's just between Dakota and St. Louis. So then it's like, okay, let's just do New Mexico, Rhode Island, Florida. Because Florida kind of got fucked. And now it's actually winning. Winning by a landslide now. What the fuck? Just gave cocaine to their soldiers. Might I add, I think this war alone between just these two has taken like 100 years at this point. Just between these two in game. California became a puppet state of Florida. Like, I do want to do this same video on like a bigger map. Just because I think it would be fun as well, but yeah. Oh, seized Helena. Ooh, getting pushed out. They're going to release California. Of course. California pushes back. As long as we don't go all the way back. California became a puppet state yet again. Florida, take like a small town they wouldn't care for. Okay, well. Duxon. Sure. Take another one. Take another small town they wouldn't care for. Like, fucking, what is this? Okay, well. Damn. Okay, maybe they cared a bit too much. Okay. Yep, we're back. We're back here. Oh my god, bro. This is gonna take a while. And the inevitability is that Florida wins. We've just seen that, like, California gets pushed back eventually back into their own territory like this. Like what's happening here. We're back. We're so back. Like, if I'm being honest, my most faith is always in Texas because of its sheer size. And most of the time that's been right when doing United States maps. I like doing United States maps the most because it's as simple as it gets. But I understand that if you just stay on the one map, the game's going to get boring. And I'm kind of right because I could just call that it's going to go between two countries. One starts on the right, the other's on the left, and the right wins. The right one always wins. It's just what happens. So that's why I was kind of like, I don't want it to be between Dakota and St. Louis, just because it's not fun. And even then, like, when we get to this point of the game, it's not even fun to really watch or commentate over. It's just easy to, like, talk over, to talk. Anyway, I have a new album that I'm going to be working on and releasing soon. I think I already released the best songs of 2024. So yeah, soon there's going to be a new album. There we go. Yeah, I'm working on it. There's some bugs with Soundtrap that I'm trying to work through that will help me actually release the music, because there's currently like a drum bug where the drums will like cut in the middle of the song but then like start, and it's weird because it's like they cut over a drum line that's playing. That's what I kind of like mean. Like, it goes over the next drum line, even though there's nothing in the MIDI that states that it's supposed to do that. And it just sounds really weird. Or at the end of the song, and that's California conquered by Florida. That is the end of the game. I guess I'll finish that thought later. Anyway, that is the end of the game. That is game. Florida has officially beaten California. What could even revolt in Florida? Let's check. We got Rhode Island, Tennessee, Dakota, Virginia, Maine, Wisconsin, St. Louis Union, Nebraska, Wisconsin. I already said Wisconsin. St. Paul Union, New Mexico, Washington, fair actually, Arizona, California, a lot of California actually. So I'm gonna say this: if you guys want to see a continuation to this save, I'm going to keep the map saved. If you want to see all of these places come back and see what it would look like if they all came back and faced Florida, then yeah, I'll bring them back. But they're gonna have to choose their own allies. But yeah, if you want to see this again, let me know. I'm making a map, working on it. And about the new album, once I get this drum bug fixed, that's just where the MIDI just plays right over top of other MIDIs, of other drum MIDIs specifically. And also, I'm wanting to completely, how do I say this? I want it to not do the same thing at the end of the song, but I don't want to just fade out the drums. Because it's like, it just cuts at the end of the song. You probably heard it on the last album where, like, the drums would just cut at the end of a song. But you'd hear, like, everything else, like, fizzling. So, yeah. I'm going to save this. Recorded States of America. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!